If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're on hold, stand by. There's already callers on hold, and the show has not even started yet. We've got a lot to cover. I'm going to talk about this incredible ABC settlement with Trump, which is huge, and we'll put in proper perspective what that means. And there's a lot of other things I'm going to comment on as well. I do have some things on the drones. We're going to talk about the drones coming up as well. But I'm going to start with Stephanopoulos and the importance of all of this. Got a lot to cover. Absolutely. If you're already subscribed, like the video. This is a big day. It's amazing that, you know, here we are counting down. Christmas is next week, and the news is overloaded with news because Trump's on the scene. And anytime Trump is out there, news is happening. And it's all good news for us. One more commercial after this, and we will be live. Stephanopoulos is a punk. He's always been doing things. He's a real lowlife, Stephanopoulos. I've had 3/4 of this. I'm going to be so hopped up on caffeine in a few minutes. It's got 4 shots of espresso in it. Uh-oh.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, welcome everyone. It is Monday, December 16th. I am Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We are live on this Monday morning. We've got so much to cover, so I'm just going to jump into it. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be getting to the calls shortly. Okay, this ABC settlement with President Trump. I want to start with this because it's huge what's going on, and there's a lot to put in perspective and break down on this. Here's the headline. George Stephanopoulos and ABC apologized to Trump, are forced to pay $15 million to settle defamation suit. And the money, Trump is having them donate the $15 million to his presidential museum, which is very exciting. And I cannot wait to find out where it's going to be. It's got to be here in Palm Beach, close to Mar-a-Lago. It's got to be. It's got to be. There's a more accurate way to describe this. Yes, ABC, but it's really Disney. Woke Disney. Disney owns ABC. ABC is one of the many properties owned by Disney. So Disney, woke Disney, spreading their liberal, disgusting things through their pathetic programming and streaming app that's failed. Disney is been ordered to pay President Trump $15 million. Now, you know, this has a lot of very, very serious things to break down. But let me go through this article first, then we'll get through it, okay? ABC News, this is from Fox News I'm reading from. ABC News and its top anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who's a real lowlife. You know, George Stephanopoulos, just to remind those of you who may not know, George Stephanopoulos became a national figure. He was the spokesperson for Governor Clinton's presidential campaign in 1992. And then when Clinton won, he was the first White House spokesperson for Bill Clinton. And he was so nasty and didn't get along with the press corps, he got promoted upstairs, right? And became a special advisor to Clinton. But what George Stephanopoulos did on the Clinton campaign, he is one of the scummiest, most low-life people in the news and politicking world today. And this is what happened. When he was the spokesperson, George Stephanopoulos, for President Clinton's first presidential campaign in 1992, women started coming forward that they were sexually abused or harassed by Bill Clinton. And then, you know, we had Jennifer Flowers, the hairdresser, who had like a 10-year-long affair with him. Remember all of that? And you may be familiar with a phrase called bimbo eruption. Bimbo eruption. Oh, yeah, these Democrats, they're all about the women's rights and all, so they say. But that phrase, bimbo eruption, came from the Clinton campaign. Low-life scumbag George Stephanopoulos was part of a 3-man team. It was made up of George Stephanopoulos, James Carville, who's running around just out of his mind lately, and Hillary Rodham Clinton. And Hillary Clinton, George Stephanopoulos, and what they did, and James Carville, what they did, they had this 3-person committee, and their job was to destroy the reputation of Bill Clinton's victims. They came up with bimbo eruption. They had one common phrase: take a $100 bill through a trailer park, you come out with Paula Jones. You know, all that stuff. That all came from the 3-man committee of Hillary, James Carville, and George Stephanopoulos. So, and bimbo eruption was their first phrase they came up with. They called, these women have been abused, sometimes raped by Bill Clinton. They call them bimbos. Bimbos is a woman who sleeps with married men, Kamala Harris, okay? So Stephanopoulos, his entire adult life has been scumduggery. Fox News reporting, ABC News and top anchor George Stephanopoulos have reached a settlement with Donald Trump in his defamation suit, which will result in the network paying the president-elect $15 million. The settlement was first publicly filed on Saturday, revealing that the two parties have come to an agreement and avoided a costly trial. According to the settlement, ABC News, which is Disney, will pay $15 million as a charitable contribution to a presidential foundation and museum to be established by or for the plaintiff. Additionally, they'll pay $1 million in Trump's attorney fees. I guess that's Alina Habba. Stephanopoulos and ABC News also had to issue statements of regret as an editor's note at the bottom of a March 10th, 2024 online article about comments made earlier this year that prompted Trump to file the defamation lawsuit. The note reads, quote, ABC News and George Stephanopoulos regret statements regarding President Donald J. Trump made during an interview by George Stephanopoulos with Representative Nancy Mace on ABC's This Week on March 10th, 2024. ABC News said the network was pleased to have concluded the case. We're pleased that the parties have reached an agreement to dismiss the lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Trump filed a defamation suit against Stephanopoulos after he asserted that Trump was found liable for rape in a civil case. In this interview with Nancy Mace, yes, we talked about that at the time. After playing a clip of Mace discussing being a victim of rape, Stephanopoulos asked her, how do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw? You've endorsed Donald Trump. This is Stephanopoulos talking. You've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape for defaming the victim of that rape, Stephanopoulos said. Stephanopoulos repeated that claim 10 times during his spat with Nancy Mace, despite the fact that a jury actually determined Trump was liable for sexual abuse, which has a distinct definition under New York law. Okay, so that's that. And that's huge. Stephanopoulos has also deleted his Twitter account, X account, whatever it is you want to call it. And I don't know if that was part of the agreement or he just doesn't want to deal with it. But this is the beginning of a big problem for Disney and ABC News, as well as the entire media. The media have spent the better part of a decade colluding and lying, slandering President Trump. You go back after this victory, you think Trump's going to end with this victory? Heck no, he's not. ABC News as well had a fake debate with Kamala Harris, right? With David Muir. And the girl that was sitting next to David Muir from ABC News is a sorority sister of Kamala. And that was inappropriate, and the way that went. See, the media are being held accountable. And if you look at all the stories that the left-wing media have promoted against Trump, which of the stories have turned out to be true in the end? And the answer is none of them. So there's a lot more to say about this, and I do want to take your calls as well. We've got a lot to cover today, and we're already through the first segment of the show. Holy smokes. Our number is, if you're on hold, hang in there. The number to call in toll free is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And now I want to remind you that there are great deals going on right now at MyPillow.com for Christmas shopping. There is still time to order. You know, when you order for Christmas at MyPillow.com, you know you can send the items directly to the recipient if they're out of town. Huge sales going on right now with our promo code Kane on some of the most popular MyPillow products. You know, the MyPillow 2.0, that's the one with the cooling technology in it. I have this. I have all the MyPillows. My wife and I, we have them all, and we rotate around because they're all so great. The MyPillow 2.0 with the temperature regulating technology keeps your head and neck the perfect temperature all night long, just like Goldilocks. You'll never flip the pillow over again looking for the cool side. And you know, when you do that, you're waking yourself up even if you don't remember it. It's like having sleep apnea. That pillow is just $7.49 right now with our promo code Kane at checkout. The MyPillow that started it all is just $14.88. The specials are like that throughout the entire MyPillow.com website with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Also, it's free shipping on orders over $75. So load up, send these directly to the recipient. They will love them. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. Oh, man. I mean, this is huge, guys, with Stephanopoulos. This is not a minor thing, and we will get into all of this as the morning goes on. Yeah, I mean, this is just sick. These people are sick. Oh, I gotta... Let's see here.
Good.
All right. Let's see. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Just sent it. All right, stand by if you're on hold. A couple more things I want to get to before we go to the calls. Oh my goodness. I got a list that someone sent me of some of the media hoaxes. I want to go through some of them. I mean, these are big stories. You know, it's like the Duke lacrosse players, right?
Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes,
This is beautiful.
all year.
It does
We're
not
supported
get better
by
than
Northern
this.
Comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833 all year. That's
Here we go.
833
Stand by.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere.
All right, 17 minutes after the hour. Call us on hold. Stand by. So Trump's victory over ABC News. This is huge, okay? This is massive. They lied, and they continue to lie. And, you know, we were talking on Friday about the Duke rape accuser. How nice of her, 18 years later, to say she made it up. Well, now that she's destroyed these guys' lives and probably brought up a bunch of things that they didn't really want to because now they're in the news again. But when you look at these, you know, the media are lowlives. You know, they make a lot of money. They're rich. They wear fancy clothes. You know, a lot of them look good on TV, but they're scummy people in the media. They're trashy, low-life, scummy people who are in the business of destroying lives, not reporting news. And they're very arrogant about it. And, you know, there's so many, during the time that Trump's been on the scene, since President Trump came down the escalator, okay, how many stories have they reported that were negative about President Trump that were true? Not very many, if any. And someone sent me a list of a bunch of the mainstream media hoaxes. And I'll go through some of these. The Russian collusion hoax, number 1 on the list. Total fake news. Trump calling the neo-Nazis fine people. They still run with that garbage. He said there were good, fine people on both sides. And I'm not talking about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. They should be condemned. But they leave that part out. The Jussie Smollett story, right? Oh, this is MAGA country. You see that ridiculous picture of Jussie Smollett with the noose around his neck? Come on. Oh, here's one I forgot. Whoever sent me this list, thanks so much. Here's one I forgot. The Bubba Wallace garage noose fake story. Bubba Wallace, the race car driver, remember there was a noose hanging from the garage door, and then it turns out it was just a rope that was used as a handle, and all the garages had that same hand pull. He called it a noose, and they ran with that. Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. That's right. The Kavanaugh rape story. These are all stories, all fake. Trump's story about drinking bleach, fake news. The Trump tape, right? The Russian collusion tape. Oh, here's another one. This was terrible. The Border Patrol agents on horseback were whipping, with whips, migrants at the border. Remember that? And it was a photo taken at an angle and misrepresented. Even after that was exposed, they still run with this garbage. The Steele dossier. The list goes on. Trump built cages to put children and migrants in. Yeah, it goes on and on and on. Trump used tear gas to clear a crowd so we could take that picture in front of the church with the Bible. All these things. It goes on and on and on. The news just makes stuff up. And maybe they always have. Maybe the way we look at the media is just, as we live longer and you grow older, you see things that you didn't see when you were younger. Maybe the media has always been this way. I don't know. But they're this way now. And Disney, ABC News, and George Stephanopoulos having to pay this $15 million that Trump's so rich he's not even taking. He's having to make a donation to his library. This is the beginning of the end for these people. All right. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, this is Brian. No, there was something else with George Stephanopoulos. He had to leave in disgrace, didn't he? Remember didn't he have to leave the administration in disgrace? No, I don't remember. If he did, I don't remember. Was there a scandal with him? How could somebody have a scandal forcing them out of the Clinton administration? Well, didn't he have a issue with a car accident or something? No, you've got him confused. That was his replacement. There was a lady press spokesperson. I've forgotten her name. She had blonde hair, and she was drunk in her car. But that, I think, was after she was fired from the White House. And the other thing is that the media, I remember something where real journalists back remember when Gary Hart challenged the media to see when the thing about monkey business. And that's when there was real journalists doing real work and investigative reporting. Well, now Gary Hart, okay.
Gary Hart was the Democrat running for president, and they found him on. There was a photograph of him with a girlfriend, a married man, on his lap on a yacht called Monkey Business. My recollection is that story was broken by the National Enquirer. I think it was the National Enquirer. I mean, if the National Enquirer is a media outlet, and they've done some good reporting over the years, but it wasn't what you would consider to be the mainstream legacy media. They had him on the cover of the Enquirer, Gary Hart. What was the name of the girl? Does anybody remember the name of the girl?
Donna Rice.
That's right, Donna Rice on his lap. Yes.
But there's more to it. I had when she had to move out of the apartment, there was friends of mine that had their neighbors that actually had to help her move out of the apartment over there in down in Miami. But I remember anyhow.
Yeah, and the thing is, Kamala Harris was she was the Donna Rice to Willie Brown, and look where that got her.
It's just been one of those. It's just great to see what's happening, and
absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm just really what they should do is just take everybody off the view and get real things.
Well, yeah. All right, hey, listen, I appreciate the call. The thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't like these people because they disagree with you." The media are not supposed to render opinions. Okay, they're supposed to. Remember Dragnet, right? Friday. Just the facts, ma'am. They're supposed to just give you the facts and let you decide. And they haven't been doing that in a long time. Certainly since Walter Cronkite's days. They've been telling you what to think, and that's what they do now. And they've always been biased. When Reagan was president, there was a poll done on journalists at the time, and 80% said that they were liberal Democrats. And of the other 20, a lot of them were lying, and they were liberal Democrats too. And what's happened, the media has always been liberally biased, but they tried to hide it. And bias can be angles on stories. It can be what stories they cover and don't cover. But what they've done now is they've forgotten about that. And what they do now is they tell you straight up what their opinion is and what you're supposed to think about it. They don't even hide it anymore. And that's where the problem is. They misrepresent themselves, calling themselves news, right? It's a misrepresentation of what they are. We've got a lot to cover today, so your calls certainly are welcome on this incredible settlement. I'm going to take the break for the bottom of the hour. There's some updates on the drones I want to get to and ask you some questions on, and there's a lot of other stories as well. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. They have new tires at Friendly Tire in Margate as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because, remember, Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. And that is for common sizes on some of the most common vehicles on the road. It's absolutely amazing. And all the cars in my family are on the road on tires from Friendly Tire in Margate. We have listeners that drive more than an hour each way for the great deals at Friendly Tire in Margate. Some of our cruisers that drive to Florida from other states, or sometimes we have snowbirds that come down, they buy tires when they're here before they drive back up north. It's amazing. And my daughter, she moved to California 2 years ago this month. And she actually left the afternoon of Christmas 2 years ago. And we shipped her car to her. And before I shipped her car to her, I took her car to Friendly Tire in Margate and got her 4 new Firestone tires. And, and I was talking to my daughter over the weekend. She got her oil change, and I always make sure every other oil change she gets her tires rotated. And I said, "How the tires go?" She said, "They're spectacular. She doesn't need new tires yet." I was going to, she's driving through the deserts on the Pacific Coast Highway. She drives all over the place out west for over 2 years. And she says, "Dad, the tires are like new." Yeah, because they're great tires. Friendly Tire in Margate. Give Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. These make great Christmas gifts too, by the way. Tires for your kids, mom, dad. Take them over there and get tires from Friendly Tire. If you have a Tesla or other EV, he can help you with that too. There's special tools you need to change the tires on a Tesla. I did not know that. He's got them. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Yeah, this is one of my other new shirts, guys, if you can see it. This is, of course, Trump, Lincoln, and Reagan, the three great Republican presidents. That's right. Absolutely.
Coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone.
Yep. Hang in there. We've got so much to cover.
December 16th, 2024, and right now it's 71 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 79 degrees.
We've got a lot to cover. I can't believe how much news there is. I really can't. It's insane. There's so much news that
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC
I almost don't know where to
replacement
begin.
along with same-day service
If you're new,
installation.
make sure you
Visit
subscribe.
allyearcooling.com
And everyone
to
who's
schedule your
already
service
subbed,
today.
please
And
like the
remember,
video.
The All Year family is here to serve your family all year long.
And I want to tell you guys about Java Green Trees. They're sponsoring the program today. And you guys know I have orange trees, lemon trees, avocado trees, mango trees. If you love fruit, JavaGreenTrees.com. They have great prices and all the fruit you could. Some of these I've never even heard of before. But they have everything you can imagine at great prices. Citrus trees, mango trees, guava, avocado. These are the avocados I have. I'm interested in this, the sugar apple tree. And great prices. JavaGreenTrees.com. You know, I'm in Florida, so I love citrus. I mean, look at this. Navel oranges, Valencia, Persian lime, seedless navel. Oh, those are awesome. Myers lemons. These are the lemons I have, the Myers lemons. Tangerines. I love tangerines. And they ship directly to your house. Great prices. JavaGreenTrees.com. And there's a link in the description of the video. JavaGreenTrees.com. So order yours.
Straighter than she ever walked in her life, and I just want to say thank you.
We'll be back shortly, guys.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yeah, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits up on the train for 24 hours, and I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for retirement,
I'm going to talk about the
experience are two big qualities to look for. And as
some of the updates on the drones when we get back. And I was, on the way up this morning, I did a live stream on YouTube, and I was talking about this left-wing BS in Yellowstone, and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to do spoilers on the air because it's disgusting.
Know it all. Great book. Call 561-743-0999 or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88.
These things gotta be talked about.
Before. That's right, just $14.88 and free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.
Do you guys in the chat, any of you watch Yellowstone?
Check out KANE, the standard MyPillow for just $14.88, the lowest price ever. You can also order by phone.
The TV show with Kevin Costner. They had their series finale. It's so left-wing.
Promo code KANE.
Awesome, Metro. Appreciate that. Yeah, JavaGreenTrees.com. The link is in the description of the video.
And the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger.
Fruit is always a great gift, all year round.
Truly the best customers.
You used to, you love Yellowstone.
They are
Okay. Let me talk about Yellowstone when we get back. This left-wing ending, okay? Steve, when Steve gets on, he'll be mad at me for talking about Yellowstone. So I'm gonna do it before he gets here. This hardcore liberal left-wing ending.
We have installed all kinds of roofs from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile.
Left-wing ending, yeah, liberal ending.
Slate tile and flat roof systems.
Just because, I'll tell you when we get back.
Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954.
Have you guys seen the finale, the liberal finale of Yellowstone?
Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time
Well,
we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Lines.
I watched the first season of Sylvester Stallone's show. I haven't seen the second season. I'm not really interested. But the first season was good. Tulsa King. I'll bring up the drones in just a bit. I want to talk about this liberal ending of Yellowstone, which is insane. All right, stand by. We're coming back.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, Monday, December 16th. Okay, you know, liberalism is everywhere, and liberalism is a disease. It really is. It's more than just a mental illness. It's a disease that infects so much of our society. And a lot of people are talking about this finale of Yellowstone, you know, the TV series with Kevin Costner. It has the most left-wing BS ending. Now, I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert, I am going to give you the ending, and I don't want to hear any complaints about doing this. We don't talk about TV shows too much. Last time I did this was with Sons of Anarchy, and someone actually got angry and called the radio station because I gave the ending. Spoiler alert, I am, in the course of this segment, I am going to give you the ending of Yellowstone and how the final episode ended. Spoiler alert, stand by. Now, I did not watch it. I read an article about it that spoiled it. I did watch the first season of Yellowstone. I binged watched the first season of Yellowstone over a weekend, and I thought it was pretty good. It basically is, everybody praises this Terry Sheridan guy, the creator of it, who's a liberal wackadoodle, okay? Just because people got cowboy boots on and ride horseback and talk like this does not mean that they got their head screwed on straight and are conservative. He's a liberal. And I watched the first season of Yellowstone. It was good, but basically it's a ripoff of Dallas with Larry Hagman, Patrick Duffy, and Victoria Principal and all of that from the 70s and 80s. The first season. I tried to watch the second season and couldn't get into it. Now, Terry Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone, he has like 20 shows on TV. Some of them are okay, a lot of them are garbage, but he does this one really liberal show called Lioness, which I have watched. It's a show about CIA military operators, and all the leaders of these combat teams are women. The Lioness. Yeah, very left-wing. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. Commanding men on the field of battle. We see how women do up against men at the boxing and the Olympics, the swim meets and all this stuff. But on Lioness, they're the toughest of all. That's another Terry Sheridan show. Okay, so I am going to do a countdown from 5. This is your final spoiler alert. Don't call the radio station and whine. Don't call Steve and whine. At the end of this 5-second countdown, I am going to give you the ending. I'm going to completely spoil the ending of Yellowstone. And the reason I'm doing that, it is necessary for me to have this discussion. Okay, so here we go. Spoiler alert countdown. You think when I did this for Sons of Anarchy, I met Chickless from from the Shield at the airport last time when I went to see my daughter in California. He was on the plane with me, Michael Chickless, and he was in the last scene of Sons of Anarchy, and I went and talked to him, and I got to tell you, people, it's so bizarre what ticks people off in the audience. When I talked about I didn't do a long enough spoiler alert. Okay, here we go. Yellowstone spoiler alert countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Here's the ending. Now, I read an article in the Daily Mail that detailed it. Everyone knows Kevin Costner died a couple episodes back. In the final episode, the daughter gives the ranch back to the Indians. That's the spoiler. Gives the land back to the Indians for the same price that the Duttons paid per acre in 1883. Okay, so let me just tell you exactly. Give me a freaking break. Under the condition that they don't develop the land, so no casinos or anything. They have to leave it to nature. So that's it. That's how it ends. Oh yeah, she also kills her brother who killed Kevin Costner's character. So gave the land back to the Indians, the true owners of the land. Well, she sold it to them for the price they paid in 1883. Okay. I saw online this morning a trailer for the prequel series of Yellowstone, 1923. And I watched the first season of that because before Harrison Ford got paid probably to endorse Kamala and he got involved in politics, I'm a Star Wars fan, Indiana Jones fan. So 1923, the prequel series stars Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. So I watched it because Harrison Ford was in it. He's so burned out from all that weed he's been smoking. He's between that and his age. But season 2 of 1923, the prequel to Yellowstone, debuts in a couple of months, February. And I saw the trailer, and it's Kevin. I'm sorry, not Kevin Costner. It's Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren leading their family, the Duttons of 1923, and their ranch hands in a range war against the people that are trying to take the ranch. Now, this was going on in the first season. Timothy Dalton is the villain trying to take the Dutton land. And in the first season, a whole bunch of people got shot and killed trying to save the ranch. And the entire second season is a battle between the Dutton family, led by Harrison Ford, and Timothy Dalton, the land baron, trying to steal their land. And I imagine, like in season 1, a whole bunch of people are going to get killed, including not just family members to preserve the land, but ranch hands, and probably a bunch of innocent bystanders on both sides are going to get killed. So from a theatrical viewpoint, they put this guy, Terry Sheridan, up on this pedestal of the great. He's like the Brandon Tartikoff of 2024. Remember Brandon Tartikoff? Okay. If you do, you know what I mean. From a dramatic viewpoint, why watch 1923? What are they fighting for? Why are they getting shot? Why are they fighting to the death? Why are they getting the ranch hands and family members killed? Why is Helen Mirren firing in a gun battle out of the window of her house when in 2024, Kevin Costner's daughter is just going to give it back to the Indians? Except from a dramatic viewpoint, it seems kind of ridiculous. They've made the prequel series ridiculous to even watch. But this idea that the Indians are good people, that just, the Europeans came over here. Let me tell you, if the Europeans never came to America, the Native American Indians would be just like these fighters and terrorists in the Middle East. It would be anarchy, and they would be fighting each other constantly, just like in the Middle East with the Muslims over there. But I find it disappointing. And I just want to say this about binge watching television. Now, I have fallen for the trap of binge watching. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I have binged watched some shows. I've probably done this 4 or 5 times in my life since we've had streaming. But the 2 big ones I binge watched were Lost and the remake of Battlestar Galactica. And when I say binge watched, I mean I watched every episode of every season from beginning to end in a row in a very short time period. And for Lost, it was a big investment because that was a network television show with like 26 episodes a season most of the time, not 10 like on these streaming services. And Battlestar Galactica and Lost were excellent. I love the endings and everything. But anytime I have binge watched, okay? Yeah, this Taylor Sheridan, is that the guy's name? Liberal jerk, I don't care. The creator of Yellowstone. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the calls after the break. But when I have binge watched, this is the experience I have had. Okay? When I have binge watched, and again, remember, binge watching, I'm defining as watching every episode of a television series from episode 1 until the last finale in the last season in a short period of time. And I've done this over a week or a weekend in some instances. And Galactica, the remake, and Lost were 2 of the best. There's been some other ones. I just can't remember the other ones because of the reason I'm going to tell you. Whenever I finish binge watching a series, I get depressed. You know why I get depressed? And I'm not exaggerating. I don't mean figuratively. I feel very depressed. I feel very bad. Not because this show I loved is over and the character arc is over and I won't be able to follow these beloved characters anymore. I say to myself, how many days or weeks of my life did I waste watching this? It's for nothing. You know, I spent, what, a month in front of a television set? 4 days in front of a television set? For what? It's a waste of life, binge watching. It really is a waste of life. It's like every time you smoke a cigarette, it takes a little bit of time off your life. Well, and if you think about it, you don't even remember. You get in this hypnotic state. Oh yeah, Sons of Anarchy was another one I binge watched. That's why I talked about it at the time after it was over. It was a similar conversation to this. The way Sons of Anarchy ended. Oh my goodness. The whole show was a waste. It was a waste of life. And that's what it is with binge watching each and every single time. So don't binge watch. It's a waste of life. You get nothing out of it. You're in a hypnotic state. You're basically, it's like being on crack, like Hunter. You're in some hypnotic state of wasted life, especially when at the end they go liberal on you. When Yellowstone first debuted, it was being pumped up a lot on Fox as the conservative. This was during this toxic masculinity Harvey Weinstein era. Me Too. Oh, this is the man's man show. Really? He gets killed, and then they give his land to the Indians that his family spent over 100 years fighting and dying for? How's that a man's man show? That looks like a bunch of men who wasted their lives, in my opinion. Anyway, I had to talk about that a little early. I know it's in the news today, but Steve will kill me for talking about this. So I want to get out of the way early. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
At All Year, we offer same-day AC and plumbing service and installation. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. Need plumbing help? Yes, all year. Call us today at 833 all year. That's 833 all year.
Call 833 all year today.
I want my life back. That's correct. I want my life back.
When it comes to dental work, there's no This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth.
Now, I'm not saying that everything has to be educational, but binge watching is a drug. It's a drug. I'll tell you another one. 24. Oh my goodness. That was probably the first thing I binge watched.
So excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Connie family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned family-run health.
Countdown wasn't long enough. Please, I gave like a 10-minute countdown. Yeah, people were. I had people
So much more. All your favorite
pissed off at me over the Sons of Anarchy.
natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids.
The Boys. I haven't binge watched The Boys, but The Boys is, you know.
7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377.
All right, I'm coming back.
That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
Now is the best time when the market is challenged to
10 seconds.
Copper, gold, silver, battery metals, cleantech, biotech, and AI equities. Listen to Money Talk Radio South Florida with me, Ellis Martin, 9:30 a.m. weekdays here on your true oldie station.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve.
All right, we're back. One quick thing, then I'll go to the phone. So if you're on hold, I just remember the first thing I binged watched was 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Okay, and that was like the hottest thing on television. And Steve got the first couple of seasons. This was how long ago it was on DVD. And you know, and I borrowed them, and my wife and I watched it from beginning to end, and they got you hooked. At the end of every episode, no matter what, you couldn't walk away. You had to see how the next one began. It was very well done. And 24, season 1 came out before 9/11 happened during the first season. Okay? And it was, if you remember, with Kiefer. And then when 9/11 happened, it became this huge show, and I had not really been watching it. So when Steve got it on DVD, and then what did they do the second year? The terrorists were Muslims, but they had to do they started filming it before 9/11, right? And the bad guy terrorists were Muslims, and because of liberal Hollywood, it became controversial. They didn't want to have Muslims as terrorists. Remember this season 2 of 24? Every commercial break, Kiefer Sutherland came in and did a disclaimer that this is just a television show and Muslims are fine people. Remember that crap? And you find out that the Muslim terrorists aren't the bad guys. Some white Englishman is the villain at the, you know, and I was like, oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the phones. I gotta pivot away or Steve's going to fry me. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, all right. They're playing something else while we're on. What is that supposed to mean? I mean, he's listening to me playing something else at the same time. So you got a headache. Please get some creativity with your trolling. Your guy held on for about 30, 40 minutes. By the way, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you know, that 24 show was a really good, and if you go back far enough, Wise Guy was a real good show with Ken Walls and John Banks.
Yeah, I remember Wise Guy. But back in those days, we didn't have binge watching, right? You just watched it. Yeah, now with this streaming thing, they design it so you can't stop watching.
Well, you know, the good thing is we get to watch your podcast whenever we want.
Well, binge watching me on YouTube or doing a binge listen to my podcast, yeah, because you're getting information. You're getting news and important information. This isn't mindless like Yellowstone.
Right, and that was a ridiculous ending. They didn't think that out very well. They could have ended that a lot better. But anyway, I believe George Stephanopoulos plus ABC and all of them are going to be coming out within the next or less, trying to apologize to Trump, because he's going to go after them all because they were part of the attack on Trump all these years.
Well, you know, the thing with this ABC News, and remember, ABC News is Disney is the parent company, so Disney had to pay Trump $15. What Trump is doing, I know they like to call this revenge, and the media are out of control. They have no editorial work. They just slander people nonstop on national television. And they need to get back into the news business as opposed to just slandering people if you want to call yourself news.
I don't think it's enough for them to come out and apologize. I believe all those people's in cahoots with Obama and the Bidens and the deep state on this unrelenting attack of lies, because everything they accuse Trump of is what they're guilty of. And we all know that.
Well, Stephanopoulos, as I've detailed, has been doing scummy things for the Democrats his entire life. He doesn't even know how not to be scummy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And justice reform is a part of the Make America Great Again. We need justice is blind. It doesn't matter if you're conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian. I don't care what your title is. If you're not honest and you're breaking the law, you need to be brought to justice.
Indeed.
And that's what this is all about. And Trump is not going to make that his main focus. You understand? He's going to make America great again. And he's going to get America first. He's going to get the economy rolling, the military picked up, the education system reform, because that's where it's going to start, I believe, Brian.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right on, Jeff. Appreciate the call. Take care. All right? Have a good day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Ryan, calling from Florida.
Yeah, Ryan.
So I heard you bring up the media and stuff, and I was wondering, can you name one piece of constructive criticism they've had on Trump's policy?
No, the mainstream legacy media, you mean constructive and accurate criticism? Well, first off, if you're in the news, they shouldn't be giving criticism of anyone. That's an opinion. They're supposed to give you the facts and let you, the viewer, decide.
Correct. So if someone's displaying facts incorrectly, the media should correct and say, hey, these are the facts, right? Can you name one piece of policy or anything that Trump has ever misrepresented that the media has had to come in and say, hey, these are...
No, Trump has never misrepresented anything.
Okay, but do you think it's likely that someone throughout an entire 8-year course of history would not even accidentally misrepresent?
What are you calling misspeaking? There's a difference between misspeaking and knowingly giving out false information. I misspeak all the time, right? Everybody does.
I would agree, but I would also argue that the press have given plenty of constructive criticism regarding Kamala Harris.
No, they gave her a free ride. The media gave her a free ride. Okay, no, they gave the media gave Kamala a free ride.
I would highly disagree with you, my man. They criticized her.
Really? What did you ever hear ABC News do a detailed story on her alcoholism? Did anyone in the mainstream legacy media point out that at the ABC presidential debate with President Trump, there were two things. One, the female reporter there was a sorority sister of hers, which is like a family member.
Trump also admitted to killing the government in that debate, and they never talked about it.
What? Trump what? What did you say?
Trump admitted to killing the government. And
to what the government? To what the government?
So he specifically said, and I quote, "It is a shame that I could not overturn the votes." Like he could not.
Well, that doesn't mean that he would. That's speech. Kamala Harris. The debate was moderated by a soror. Excuse me. I am speaking, and we're talking about Kamala, not Trump. Kamala Harris. That debate at ABC was moderated by one of her sorority sisters, which is corrupt. There was also a whistleblower from ABC News who came out prior to the debate and said that Kamala Harris was given the questions in advance of the debate to rehearse with. No one in the legacy media reported any of this stuff.
I mean, but they also never reported Trump talking.
A response to that isn't Trump, okay? You're like these you're like these idiots who say, well, yeah, an illegal murdered Lincoln Riley, but Americans have raped and murdered people too. What is it with you liberals? You're another fallacy. We're talking about Kamala. We're talking about Kamala, not Trump. All right, hey, listen. I gotta and say it's a shame I couldn't turn the votes isn't a crime. All right. I can't talk to someone who won't stop talking. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to tell everyone out there that if you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy, you want to call Lighthouse Medical. You know, we've been talking a lot that Steve had his treatment at Lighthouse Medical for his neuropathy over 2.5 years ago, and his neuropathy symptoms have not returned. So not only does Lighthouse Medical's neuropathy treatment work, it lasts. Which, you know, because Steve's neuropathy was so bad, we weren't, wasn't even thinking about a long-term thing. You just want that suffering to end. And indeed it did, and it has not come back after more than 2.5 years. Give them a call. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. If you're on hold, stand by. There's 2 openings on the board. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
W 4.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 3.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Hurry Broward on 96.9.
If you're on hold, hang in there, guys.
On 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales.
Now, I want to tell you guys about this podcast. There's a link in the description of the video. And of course, one of the sponsors for today's show, Diary of an Anxious Girly, and it is a podcast all about living and overcoming with anxiety, and it's on Spotify. Diary of an Anxious Girly, very good podcast. You will enjoy it. You'll want to add it to your podcast playlist, no doubt about it. There's a link in the description of the video, Diary of an Anxious Girly, and I'll also put the link in the live chat.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today.
There you go. Yeah, click that link. Check out that podcast.
All year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Diary of an Anxious Girly, available on Spotify. That's right. There's a link in the description of the video. If you're watching live, I just pinned the link to the top of to the chat room. If you could tune in, I would appreciate it.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The poker room at PBKC is open every day with exciting cash games, high hands, bad beat jackpots, big money tournaments, and table game action like Ultimate.
Callers on hold, stand by.
Poker. Win big this December with Christmas cash and holiday high hand promotions, and Paddock Show tickets make great holiday gifts. For event schedule and more information, go to our
Boy,
website
oh boy.
at kennelclub.com. Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time.
It's frustrating. I get a caller like that, and I'm up against a break because I you know.
Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled.
Yeah, if you could on Diary of an Anxious Girly, if you could both follow and listen, I'd appreciate it. Again, a link is in the description of the video and also pinned in the live chat. Call is on hold. Hang in there.
Advertising on our radio station, so don't use the rest. Only Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Do you suffer from neuropathy?
We'll be back shortly, guys.
Until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance.
I gotta rest my voice. My voice is a little rough.
Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1976. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, we are back. Hour number 2 has begun. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to go right back to the phones. I've covered a lot, so I'm not going to do any recapping. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling?
Yes, that's me. I'm on the... Yeah.
No fucker in the pussy.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. That is why we have a delay. Oh, my goodness. You know, that guy held on for about 25 minutes for that. Are the kids out of school for Christmas yet? Okay, because that's usually when the trolling starts. I very much doubt that guy has had that experience. We're going to wait for the delay to re-engage, then we'll go back to the calls. 1-888-465-2631, a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening to us. 1-888-465-2631. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Doug. What a follow-up.
It was so great to see that President Trump got $15 million for that Stephanopoulos, that low life. I couldn't stand that guy, and I hope that Stephanopoulos gets fired. You know, I'm usually not the kind of person that wants to see somebody lose his job, but that guy really that doesn't deserve it.
You know, I read yesterday, I don't know if this is true, but I read yesterday that they're making Stephanopoulos pay that himself, ABC. $15 million. $15 million. That's $1 million for every inch of his height.
Yeah, man, that guy deserves being fined that much.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, but anyhow, the other thing is you had a great podcast. It just sounds like the pendulum is finally coming back, or coming out of this bad dream we've had. That you know, great podcast when you mentioned that now we have the evidence that the trial that they had with President Biden was involved.
Well, what Doug's talking about here, it came out over the weekend. Nathan Wade, he's the gigolo boyfriend of Fannie Willis in Fulton County, has testified that, which means he's looking to make a deal with the Pam Bondi Justice Department, that Fannie Willis and her office, with him taking the lead doing this, was in coordination with the Biden-Kamala Harris White House prior to them charging President Trump and the people in that Trump group with all these RICO charges and everything. The real RICO conspiracy, we're going to find out, is the White House, the Justice Department, Fannie, and all these other prosecutors around the country that have been persecuting Trump.
Oh man, that I'm looking forward to. The whole country is going to be so much better off when we clean house like we're doing. This is, and he's not even in office yet. Wow, I can't wait. This is going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I do. All right, appreciate the call, Doug. I want to talk just for a minute about the drones, okay? And I know we talked a lot about the drones one day last week, and there's been some updates, and I want to throw this out to you, okay? Because the drone story is really, really picking up. There's been two developments with the drones involving President Trump. And then there's a lot of theories. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? And this is an important point in my view. Anyone that is on the news telling you that they have sources telling them this, that, and I'm not talking about members of Congress, other than members of Congress, anyone who tells you they have sources telling you it's this, that, or the other thing, they're just making stuff up. They have no sources. No one knows what's going on with the drones. No one knows outside of the government, okay? But this is what my thoughts are on it, and I'll share them with you, and you can call and tell me whether or not you agree or disagree. I do not believe it is Iran. I don't believe it's China. Whatever the drones are, it's us, the United States. Now, when I say the United States, it could be the military. It could be a military industrial contractor, but they're domestic. It's not Iran, in my opinion, or China. It would be my guess based on a little bit of evidence we have, okay? And I'll share with you how I come to that conclusion. Now, President Trump did say the other day they should shoot him down, but President Trump is a little more than a month away from becoming president again. So, without a doubt, in my view, he is getting a lot of national security briefings on everything going on around the world. The world's a mess because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden just does things for money. Probably selling pardons right now. But he's doing all these things, you know, that have put our world in chaos. And President Trump's being briefed because he's a month away from the inauguration, a little more than a month. So, for this drone story, do you not assume that President Trump has been briefed on it and knows what's going on at this point? Does President Trump know what's going on with the drones? I would say yes, because he's president-elect, just over a month away from Inauguration Day. He's being briefed on everything. President Trump has multiple times flown through the airspace where the drones are flying. He was in New York with his entire family the other day for the Wall Street ringing of the bell. So if these drones were Iranian or Chinese or some foreign threat or some threat at all, would President Trump be flying through that airspace on Trump Force One? I would say no. He even flew, I know it was just to Maryland, but he flew to Maryland over the weekend for the Army-Navy game, but he's been flying all over the place. And we know the Iranians hate Trump. So I don't think President Trump would be flying, especially through the airspace where the drones are, if it was Iran or something. And I know some people will say, well, they only fly at night. Well, you can't, if it's Iran, you can't trust that. Oh, we can fly during the day. They won't come out here. You can't trust that. So that's one. Again, this is all based on the assumption that President Trump is being briefed on what's going on. Now, the first bud, Elon Musk, has the highest level security clearance because he owns SpaceX. So President Trump, when he's briefed on the drones, my guess would be he either has Elon Musk with him during that briefing, or he runs the briefing by him at some point after, and because Elon has top security clearance, especially in things involving flight with SpaceX, and gets his expert analysis on the information they're giving him. So don't you assume that President Trump and Elon Musk know what the story is with the drones? And if there was anything foreign power related or dangerous, do you think that Trump and Elon Musk would be flying through that area? I would say no. With his whole family? Trump had the whole family up there at Wall Street. So that doesn't mean that the drones aren't a problem, or that it doesn't need to be resolved or solved or whatever. I'm in particular talking about the New Jersey drone. I know people are seeing drones here, there, and everywhere. I would also say that a lot of these other things you're hearing about drones have no connection to what's going on in New Jersey. Probably everybody and their brother have gotten their old drones out of the garage and are flying them now. And some people have probably bought them. Now, this is going to sound, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound totally insane, and I am not saying that this is what's going on, but there is a possibility here that I'm going to share with you after the break, because I looked at the clock. Let me take the break. This is not a tease. Remember Todd Schnitt? Remember Todd Schnitt used to be on the air in Miami? Every break was a tease to try to get you to hang over. Oh, he sucked on the air, so he had to have tricks to get you to listen through the break. We don't do that here. But I do want to share, there is a possibility here about the drones that I'm going to share with you after the break, all right? It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back after this. All right. Now, I'm gonna throw something out about the drones when we get back. And I put the numbers pinned in the live chat. I want you guys, when I tell you, what I am going to tell you, no one has said. Okay? And there is a big possibility about what's behind the drone stuff. And you can call me on the air and tell me if I'm nuts or if you agree with me or if it's a possibility. I want to hear your thoughts on what I tell you about the drones when we get back. I'm not going to tell you guys now, okay? I wish I had time to do it before the break, because it sounds crazy, and you know. All right.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True FM.
All right, now here's something that's a great Christmas gift, and this is the doorbell camera from Sloman's. Listen up, guys. We have plenty of time for this, by the way. I'm going to give you their number in just a moment, but Sloman's is offering you a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. This is a great Christmas gift for your own family in your own home, but also for your mom, your dad, your adult children that don't live with you. It's a great gift. Give them a call. Get this free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. It'll change your life. You'll love it. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. All right, the drones. Okay. I just to do a little recap of the first segment, and then I'll tell you a possibility. Now, this possibility I'm going to give you, I am not saying this is what it is, but it is a possibility that no one else has suggested. Okay. I do not believe the drones are China or Iran or a foreign power. I believe Donald Trump has been briefed because he's a month away from being president. He's got Elon with him. Elon Musk has top security clearance because of SpaceX. So Elon could very well have been in the briefing on it. If not, Trump certainly sought out his expert guidance and counsel and told him what he was briefed on. And if President Trump thought, if they were a threat, President Trump would not be flying through the airspace where the drones are. He's got to fly over Jersey to get to New York, and he went there with his whole family the other day. Okay? There's a lot of talk that they're looking for nuclear weapons that are lost and all this stuff. I don't subscribe to that either. Now, we may never know the real reason, and even if they give us the real reason, we may not believe it. And I know there's a lot of stories of drones flying all over creation now. Over here, over there, and all this. And I was telling you that before the break that everyone is probably getting their drones out and flying them. You know, drones were very popular a few years ago. And they've kind of gone out of fashion. I know people still have them, but they're not as popular as they were a couple of years back. And because I can remember like 5 years ago, there were always people flying drones in the neighborhood. You'd hear them, and some of them pretty high up. And a lot of people like to fly them at night because they like the lights and, you know, and all that stuff. But they've really gone out of fashion. They're just not as popular. It's like, you know, 10 years ago or so, those Segways were popular. I still have in my garage, it's not a Segway with a handle. I forgot what you call them, like the hoverboards that you ride on that are electronic. It's like a skateboard, but it's wide, and you just, you know, you can just lean you bend your knees, and then you're going down the street at 12 miles an hour and all that stuff. Those were very popular, and they're out of fashion now. My guess is the reason that you're seeing a lot of drone stories in other parts of the country and the world is because people are dusting off their old drones and they're flying them now, would be my guess. So this is I should have said this before the break because I've had time to think about it. This sounds so ridiculous what I'm going to tell you. Okay, is a possibility. I am not saying that this is what it is, but I want to hear your thoughts. Give me a call. The number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And here's some questions before I'm putting off this last theory because you're going to laugh at me when I tell it to you. But it's a possibility with the drones. Has anyone got any guesses for what I'm thinking? But I'm throwing some questions out to you, okay, that I want you to respond to on the phones involving the drones at 1-888-465-2631. 1, does President Trump and Elon Musk know what the story is with the drones? He's a month out from being president. He's getting the briefings now. Does President Trump know? 2, if they were a foreign power, especially Iran, but if they were a foreign power or dangerous, would President Trump be flying through that airspace with his family? I would say no. What do you think? Number 3, do you think it's the U.S. government? Do you think they're searching for nuclear weapons? I know Joe Rogan mentioned this now, so, you know, that's out there because somebody put something online. But next week is Christmas. Is it at all possible that this drone stuff is being blown out of proportion to sell drones for Christmas? If I went to the stores that sell drones today, would there be any on the shelves? Have drones been selling like wild in the last week? Have drone sales gone through the roof in the last week? Where do you go to buy drones? Maybe I'll do a YouTube video on this. There aren't any Toys R Us's anymore. Where can I go? Local hobby stores? Nah. Are there any major stores that sell drones? Let me know, because maybe I'll do a video to see if there's any on the shelves. But I bet you that drones are going to be one of the most popular. Yeah, most people probably buy them online, but you don't want to wait. You want it now. It's in the news. You're excited, so you're going to go out now and buy it. You don't want. I'll look on Amazon to see what the sales are. But do you think the drone sales, the toy level drones, like people like me would buy, do you think drones are selling faster than they've sold in years and maybe ever right now? I bet you everyone and their brother is trying to get a hold of drones today. And they don't want to wait for the Amazon delivery. They want to go to a store and buy them. So is it at all possible that this is a hype for Christmas sales of drones? I know that sounds insanely stupid, okay? But is it not possible? All right, 1-888-465-2631. People, when something like this happens, people want to go out and buy them and have fun with them and fly them around. I bet you there are more drones being sold this Christmas than any Christmas ever, because all the news has been talking about drones nonstop. And I bet you this weekend was one of the biggest selling drone weekends in history. What are your thoughts on that? I know that sounds nuts, guys. Believe me, I was very reluctant to even share that with you. Tell how long it took me to get that out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sherry from Texas. How?
Hey, Sherry, what's up?
With these drones that are going on, excuse me, there's only a couple of things I wanted to mention. John Kirby was up on his little podium speaking about it and questions. And I've always thought of John Kirby, he's a snake. He's just a snake. He indirectly answered questions and had no clue.
Well,
a foreign entity. I truly don't. What you mentioned earlier, Trump would not be flying himself and his family if this was appearing to be a threat. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But what's most concerning is, why is our government not coming forth and letting the public know, hey, look, this is nothing, guys. Relax, everything's okay. It's almost like they're trying to create an artificial hype and fear to the people.
Well, I'll tell you, what's going on here is very much like the Orson Welles War of the Worlds thing. And for those who, I'm not going to go through the history of War of the Worlds other than to tell you, he did a radio drama broadcast, for those that don't know, and it's always been reported that people thought it was real. They did. I remember when I was a kid, my grandparents would talk about it. People did actually think that the aliens, that the Martians were invading, okay? There were a lot of people who thought that. There were even government hearings on it afterwards. And Orson Welles, was up against it. So that was a true thing. That's a lot of what's going on now with the drones. Would you at least agree? So we agree, Trump knows what's going on because he's a month away from inauguration. He's got Elon Musk, who's a space expert and genius, has top security clearance. So if he was not in on the briefing with President, he might have had them brief Elon so he could get his opinion on it, and he wouldn't be flying there. So the fact that Trump's been flying through that airspace shows there's no threat.
That's exactly right. And that's what I was thinking all along. But when I was listening to John Kirby, I can't even bring myself to sit and listen to him. I just can't.
Well, Kirby's a weirdo. Kirby is a weird, strange dude. He's not normal.
Yeah. And I use a drone for my real estate, but I only do the top Wested neighborhood, right? So if I'm placing one of my homes on the market, I will do a short 15-second, 30-second video with my drone, right? And that is just up above the home and a small area of homes around it.
Yeah.
If there's a lake or if there's forestry or mountains or whatever, or streams, then I will do that. But nothing extravagant like what's been going on.
Do you think, though, I'm not saying there haven't been some big drones, but don't you think everybody and their brother that has drones there's probably more drones flying now in this country than maybe ever at one time, because everybody's talking about drones, so people are going out and buying them or using the drones they haven't used in a long time. Don't you think there's more drones flying than normal now because of the hype?
Looking at a copycat scenario.
Well, yeah, I have a drone. I haven't flown it in 5 years. Let me get it out, or let me go and buy one. Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody wants to be a part of it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I appreciate the call. So I think I'm on to so it doesn't sound crazy. And do you also agree out there? We're going to take our break. If you're on hold, stand by. But do you also agree that it's probably one of the biggest selling items this Christmas season now, drones? Yeah. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, my goodness.
You saying Rogan was the one that was saying...
Rogan was talking about...
So that is practically...
But I saw that, too, over the weekend. He just saw the same story I saw, people talking about it, that they're looking for nuclear weapons.
Well, that's parallel to how they found the Titanic.
That was a CIA op, yeah.
Yeah, they lost the nuke.
Yeah.
They said they didn't want to tell people they lost.
But in
the
Jersey,
nuke.
they lost a nuke in Jersey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a nuke per se, but they lost something and they're looking for it, and they don't want to say what they lost. Yeah. So they're like,
it's possible.
Hey, we're testing out drones.
Mm-hmm.
We're testing out things, and in reality, like crap. Like whatever we lost, where did we put it? You know.
Let me see how fast we can get one delivered here.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a day or two delivery.
I don't know, to see if they're selling out. Tomorrow, I can get this one tomorrow. But people haven't been buying drones the last few years, so they're, they got a lot in the warehouse, is what I'm saying. They were like a fad a few years ago.
That also could be possible that people, like you said, that people have them still, so they don't need to buy because they have them. They
a lot of people have them.
Out. Yeah.
I had a couple small ones when my daughter was like, I never really got good at flying them.
Me neither. I always crashed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the new tattoo.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Took like 30 minutes.
You gonna get it colored? Or
I thought about it, but you know what? I like it without the color. I thought about it doing it, and then I was like, And plus, I think the flash sale was like extra 4-color, but
yeah,
I like it without it. It works. Something small, something cheap,
So what do you guys think about my drone theories? If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh my goodness. I just got a very shocking email. Not bad. Good news. I just got a good news in an email. Nothing bad. The kind of news you'd like. Oh my gosh. I just got some great news. I usually get bad news from people during the show. Rarely do I get good news. Insane. Wow. Yeah, I got really good news that I would like to, if I wasn't on the air, I'd call my wife and talk to her about it, but I can't till I get off the air in 90 minutes. Usually, it's always bad news I get during the show. Rarely do I get good news. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'd like to hear your thoughts on my drone theories, though. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And yeah, guys, I am like 20 subs away from 89,900. So I'm 120 away from 90,000. So if you're new, subscribe. Christmas bonus? No. Yeah. No. No. Oh my gosh, that made me laugh. Thank you, Beowulf.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right. We're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So that's my theory on the drones. And, listen, it may not be correct. We may never know. But, this thing about the Christmas gift buying, this is not the first time that there's been the media reporting absurd stories around Christmas for popular Christmas story sales, okay? And I'm telling you, there is a very strong possibility that some of this has to do with Christmas sales on drones. Anyone, I'm sure a lot of you that are my age or older remember the Cabbage Patch dolls. You ever hear of a Cabbage Patch doll, Mike? Okay. During the Cabbage Patch doll craze of the early 80s, there was coverage, and I'm talking to you about nightly network news coverage, okay? And I remember there was one story in particular about the Cabbage Patch dolls that was taken as a serious story. It was a national story, and I saw it on the network news. I was a little kid, but I remember I was with my grandparents, and they were watching the nightly news, and this story was on, okay? There was a story of a Cabbage Patch dolls, for those that don't remember, were the hottest thing for about a minute. I don't remember what year it was, 1980 whatever, but it was the early 80s, like 82 or 3. It had to be 82 or 3, because I can remember some things. I can remember where I was when I saw this story on the news, and it was 82, 83. The Cabbage Patch dolls were so popular. There were stories of people committing crimes to get them for their children. And there was one story, and this is the one that I remember seeing on the network evening news at 6:30. It was ABC, CBS, or NBC, one of those, that someone had their Cabbage Patch doll stolen from their car and were being sent ransom notes to get the doll back. And it was being treated not as a joke, but as a serious kidnapping of the Cabbage Patch doll. And you look back on these things, publicity stunts. Publicity stunts. And I'm sure, I haven't thought about this, but I'm sure that if we put our minds to it, we could think of other publicity stunts that were done around gifts at Christmas. And I'm sure you guys can think, and the media were used as a party to it. The media are also, they're in the advertising business. And companies that sell toys or popular Christmas gifts advertise in the media, even if they're advertising for something else. But what I'm telling you is that if you watch, you watch your local news. I watch a lot of local news because I like to follow the local crime. At least half of the stories on, not all, but on a lot of the local news are infomercials. Oh, we're going to talk to this guy. He's working hard as a mover, and he's carrying on the family tradition, or a story on a woman who teaches kids how to swim and all this stuff. They're usually infomercials for whatever that business is. How many times have you seen that? And in the mainstream media are also they're in the advertising business too, and there's things that they do for advertising purposes. Okay, and they push things they're to sell them. Okay, and a lot of infomercials are disguised as news. And the Cabbage Patch Dolls, I remember that kidnapping story like it was yesterday, and it was being widely reported. But there's been other stories. I have to think about it, but if you guys may be able to think of some other stories like the Cabbage Patch Dolls that the media were promoting to sell Cabbage Patch Dolls. But that's what's going on now. I think the more I think about it, I think the more likely it is with the drones. And I'm not saying there's not some problems. You know, a lot of people have drones that are pretty big. I'm surprised how big some of the personal drones people have are. Okay? And there's a lot of no drone flying areas. You know, if you go around Mar-a-Lago, okay, that's a no drone flying zone. They have signs all over the place. And if you fly drones in restricted airspace, you're going to shut down planes and things. And people are going to get alerted. So that's a possibility of what is going on there. And I'll throw it out to you guys. You can let me know. 1-888-465-2631. I'll give you another one that was a big infomercial around Christmas season when I was a kid growing up. So I don't pay too much attention to these things these days, but I used to when I was a kid. The Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube. That was a very popular thing. And then all of a sudden, the news started doing stories on Rubik's Cube competitions and how fast people can solve the... Now, my daughter is a pro with the Rubik's Cube. She can solve the Rubik's Cube in a few seconds. Right? Even the ones that have like more than the 6, you know, or 9 on each side. But there was all these stories of Rubik's Cubes and how fast could you do it. And they'd have competitions on the television. All infomercials to sell Rubik's Cubes by the toy manufacturers. Okay? And there's a group think going on. And I'll give you an example with the drones that are in the news. There's a lot of reporting today about Joe Rogan having some concern that they're looking for a nuclear something, right? And Joe Rogan said he's concerned about it because of this nuclear thing, and because Joe Rogan is so popular and so widely listened to, all the media are covering it. I saw that story over the weekend, not about Joe Rogan, but about it was a suggestion that they're searching for a lost nuke, and that's why the government won't comment, right? And now they've given it credibility. There's a lot of times I'll see a story in the news. It'll be about, I just saw this the other day, about a television series that's 4 years old, but everyone... It's made the #1 on Netflix, and Gen Z just loves this old show. That's an infomercial in the form of news to get people to watch this Netflix series. You see stuff like that all the time. So I'm just telling you, that's where my theory is going on the drones. And I know you guys will laugh at me and tell me I'm stupid. Whatever. I'm still going to, just in my mind. All right, 1-888-465. I've been called worse. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Justin from West Palm Beach.
Go ahead.
So on the drones, so I have a personal drone. It's about $1,000, but the higher end drones like that one, there's certain things that limit you from being able to take off. So I kind of live around the area of Palm Beach International, and I'm in the zone where you have to request authorization to actually fly it. Like the drone, you can't just take it out and fly it in this area.
Yeah.
Let's get up. So these things, I'm sure they're a lot like up in New York.
Well, no. Slow down. So, okay, there's regulations. Yes, exactly. But what would happen? What would happen if you ignored the regulation and flew the drone? What would happen?
The drone itself, mine at least, I don't know how other ones work, but mine at least will not let you fly it. It won't even take off.
Your drone, it has some kind of computer in it that will prevent it from taking off from a no-fly zone?
Right. So it's like
Wow.
I'm sure you've heard of geofencing.
I know geofencing. I didn't know that there were drones that had that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm sure up in New Jersey they're going crazy with the whole air traffic control.
But I imagine that not all drones have that in it and can still violate airspace. And even drones that do, I'm sure there's an ability to disable that.
That's above me.
Yeah, it's above me too. I can't even fly a drone. But there's no fly zones, and I'm sure there's a way around that people know. All right, hey, good. Appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Ashton. I'm calling from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And so I heard the discussion about the drone.
Yep.
I really think it's the government because of what they said about it, right? Like, they're like, oh, it's not a threat. We don't know who it is, but it's not a threat. To me, it makes me think of like, like the whole UFO thing, and it turned out it was stealth planes and all that in the past. Like,
okay, so let me slow you down. Okay, so do you think that we're talking specifically about the drones of New Jersey? Okay, okay. Do you think the drones in New Jersey are a danger?
Well, I don't know. I mean, according to the government, they aren't.
Okay. Well, okay. Do you think that the government knows and is not telling us?
I think that they're lying. I think it's them.
Okay, you think it's the U.S. government? Yeah, I don't think there's. Listen, this is my premise, okay? And I'll tell you this, okay? As I said before, Donald Trump is getting security briefings now. He's a month away from getting sworn in. So I'm assuming Donald Trump knows what's going on with the drones, and he's brought in Elon Musk, who has top secret clearance with SpaceX, to give his opinions on the intelligence and what he's been briefed on. If Donald Trump thought that there was a danger, he wouldn't be flying his plane through the area, which he's done multiple times with his entire family.
I don't think it's a danger, exactly.
Okay, and yeah.
Test.
Well, let me add something. I do not believe that aliens have ever visited the Earth, and that all those flying saucers is all BS. But over the last year, there's been nonstop stories out of nowhere about flying saucers and UFOs. And I'm like, why are they talking about this? What is going on? I don't understand. There's been a lot of stories about that over the past year. I agree with you that there's probably some military bases in the Jersey area. There's some type of government operation going on for something. Now, the reason there's a lot more drones in these restricted areas is I think people are dusting off their drones and flying them, that they haven't flown in a long time. So there's more drones in the air than normal, but I do think there's some type of government operation going that's, I don't know what it's about. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be nothing, but that's what's going on. And that's why they're not telling us, because it's something classified. But there's no threat, or Trump wouldn't be flying through there.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, it's not a threat, and I really think it's our own military, like, for most of them.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to go after some scapegoats of some private flyers, right? Like in New York, where they violated the law, right?
Yeah.
Flying through the airport.
Yes.
I think they're going to go for that and then try to, like, pin it up as, like, oh, this is what it is. And then, but in reality, it's like some kind of weird test from our military where I think they're just testing out their toys.
Maybe. Over New Jersey for some reason.
Trying to see, like, how much do people catch on? Like, how stealthy are these things?
I don't know. I think you give the government too much credit. It's being run by incompetent idiots right now that aren't that smart. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, man. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent to Punta Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore.
If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back shortly, guys. I got to rest my voice a little bit. My voice is feeling a little rough.
And bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit. And HOA
Dublin, welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, guys, and if you're already sub, please like the video. We'll be right back. This last commercial.
Honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting.
Really, you know what Lincoln would think about Trump. Reagan knew Trump, and Trump knew Reagan.
And everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office.
What would Lincoln despise about
repairs.
Trump?
If it's roofing,
Don't know what you're
Tom
talking
Laporta
about.
can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I think we have solved the drone story here on this program, which no one else has done. You're on the air.
Yes. How's it going? I just wanted to say that I think you're more on the lines of being right. It's either, it could be, that could be a coincidence of things being sold, things being sold more because of this.
Oh, Christmas shopping, Christmas shopping for the drones. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas shopping. I mean, it could be that, or it could be a coincidence. And the other thing is, how they want to take guns and all this stuff, make things hard for the people selling guns. Imagine what they will pass and
what?
People that sell the drones, make it harder to sell drones. It could be that those. I think it's that or what you're saying, because the whole nuclear warhead thing, I don't think that.
No, somebody just made that up on Twitter, and then it caught on, and everyone's talking about it now. Who even said that? I saw that story over the weekend. What a bunch of BS.
It's BS, and I think that's well, I don't think I know. Anybody that's ever contracted with the government to transport, things like that, would know how it's basically almost nearly impossible to lose something of that magnitude, right? Like, the government's not, reliable, but the contractors are way more reliable.
Well, they don't transport nuclear devices through New Jersey. They have ways of they have ways of transporting things. They don't take them down the Jersey Turnpike.
No, yeah, there's you can't go through those routes. You got to go around. There's routes you got to take. Places you can't drive them, and I think that's the thing people don't understand.
No, this whole nuclear weapon thing just was made up by somebody online, and it's feeding on itself, and just there's a snowball effect with BS on this story.
It's fun to talk about, the hysteria. I've seen so many videos of planes, and people are like, they're I don't know what they are. And I'm like, that's literally a plane. Helicopter. You see the rotor at the end, the lights. You see.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example with this story, and then after the top we'll move on, and Steve will be joining us. But I unless he wants to comment on the drones. I've seen hysteria happen before. I was talking about the Cabbage Patch Dolls with the kids, but when Johnny Versace was murdered in South Beach, we were on the air. It's the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, so we've been on the air during a lot of events. And when Johnny Versace was murdered in front of his mansion in South Beach, we were on the air, and it was a big deal. And there was a manhunt that went on for the shooter of Johnny Versace. The killer was Andrew Cunanan, and there was a manhunt that went on. It's been a long time. I don't remember how many days it went on, but there was a couple of days when there was a manhunt going on for Andrew Cunanan after he shot Johnny Versace. We were getting calls on the air, and this was a big discussion here because in fact, this is when Steve and I, we were on the air at iHeart in Miami, and we were on 940 and WINS, and so we were. It was a big story here locally, and we were getting it was only 2 days, 3. It couldn't have been more than a couple days. I can look it up. I don't remember. It's been how long did it take after he killed Versace to get Andrew Cunanan? And I remember, I don't know if Steve will remember, but I remember the calls that we would get, and there were also stories in the news of Andrew Cunanan sightings. I remember there was one story, someone saw him at the Yankee Trader on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and okay, that was in the local news. I remember getting calls on the air from people who said they saw him. There was one, this is the one I really remember, okay, that we got a call. It was a girl and a woman. I say girl because she was an airhead, an idiot. I remember this call. She said she saw Andrew Cunanan. Now, this is before they got him. She said she saw Andrew Cunanan in a Jeep Wrangler with the top off and the doors off. So she saw him. Get this. I remember talking to her on the air. I don't know if Steve remembers this. It's weird the things you remember, right? She saw Andrew Cunanan in a Jeep Wrangler with the doors off and the top off at a gas station on Coconut Creek Parkway in Coconut Creek. We were laughing at the time, but she swore she saw him. And we were talking to this idiot on the air about this. And that was not the only one. And then what did we find? He didn't get very far. They got him, and he broke into a houseboat down the street, remember? And he was there the whole time. But people were having these Andrew Cunanan sightings all over Broward and Dade. We called it Dade then, not this Miami-Dade thing that they sold on these people that have moved down here. All over Dade and Broward, there were sightings of Andrew Cunanan. And he was right down the street on the houseboat where they got him. You know, and these people that saw him, they thought they saw him. These were not trolls or pranks. They actually thought they saw him checking into the Yankee Trader. The one there were, and we had other callers too, not just this idiot that saw him in a open Jeep Wrangler on Coconut Creek Parkway. In fact, I remember exactly who that person was. I wonder if they still listen. I even remember the caller's name. It was so stupid, and it's been a long time. But so anyway, this mass hysteria, these are the kind of things that happen. And what's going on with the drones has turned into a mass hysteria. Now, I'll tell you something that'll make me hysterical. That's losing money and watching money go up and watching money go down. That drives me nuts. It's called the stock market. And I'm talking, of course, about Joe Thomas. You know, Joe Thomas with annuities, you don't have to worry about the ups and downs of the stock market because with annuities, you're not going to lose money. Your nest egg, your money is always safe. So you don't have to worry about that. And you can generate income when you retire. I know. I don't like that kind of hysteria at all. Joe Thomas has been in the retirement planning business for over 30 years. He's been licensed in South Florida for over 20 years. And he's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the industry. And you've heard him when he's come in here as guest. You know, he has very high income earners as clients, but you don't have to be a high income earner to be one of his clients. You can be a middle class person. If you're already retired or you plan on retiring at any time in your life, give Joe Thomas a call. He offers free phone consultations for all of our listeners, no matter where you are located in the United States. You don't have to be local in the Jupiter area, Palm Beach area. No matter where you are in the United States, you could take advantage of the free phone consultation with Joe Thomas. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online at jupiterjoe.com. You can find his phone number there as well at jupiterjoe.com. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us. I brought up a lot today from the Disney ABC Stephanopoulos $15 million payment they got to make to the president to this drone hysteria. We'll be right back with your calls and Steve Kane after our top of the hour break.
WS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIR 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach.
Okay, you there, Steve? Okay, hold on. You seem a little low. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay, got the mic?
I had that on.
That's better. You sound good now. You were too low before. All right.
Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Maroon from the All Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2024, and right now it's 71 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 79 degrees with partly cloudy conditions throughout the whole day with some late evening showers.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
And now, a true oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
There's a serious collision and the turnpike is shut down. This traffic report sponsored by Allstate. The turnpike is shut down heading northbound between Okeechobee Boulevard and Beeline Highway from a collision. Use I-95 instead. And there's a gas leak in Wellington at 441 at Sterling Way. And there's also a crash at Toronto Road at Mill Interior Trail. And a wreck at Seminole Pratt Whitney Road near Sycamore Drive at the roadblock. And a wreck at Melaleuca Lane at Marks Way. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first before today. You're in good hands with
Can you guys think of any other mass hysteria events? Like I talked about this Andrew Cunanan thing with Versace, the drones, the Cabbage Patch doll hype. Are there any other examples like that that you guys can think of? If you're on hold, hang in there. Yes. Y2K. Now you're just talking about like fake stories. There was a lot of hysteria around Y2K, yeah? Yeah. My voice is on its last leg. And I got a lot of talking still to do. Now, today, throughout the day, and a podcast on top of the hour left of the show. No, you're just talking about like liberal things. I'm talking about where there's a hysteria that something's happening. Yeah, climate change is an example with the liberals. Yeah.
Used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
Well, I've solved the drone issue, so that's settled. Yeah, I got the whole thing figured out. Do you remember who called us that saw Andrew Cunanan in Coconut Creek in the Jeep?
Well, really well, but...
You don't remember the call we got? Oh. Okay, it was... I remember... Okay, this was the... Did you hear me tell the story about the Andrew Cunanan sighting that we got the call from? Okay, now when Andrew Cunanan, for those that are just tuning in, I'm talking about mass hysteria events like the drone thing in Jersey that that I can remember. When Andrew Cunanan's the guy that shot and killed Johnny Versace, there was a manhunt that went on for a couple days, and Steve and I were getting calls on the air of people that had Andrew Cunanan sightings, and these people believed it. And the one that I remember was the girl who called in, the real dingbat that called in. Don't say her. I'll say the first name, because when I say the name, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. She said she saw Andrew Cunanan in a Jeep Wrangler with the doors off and the top down at a gas station in Coconut Creek. Pamela.
Pamela, okay.
Oh, yes, you remember. See? Now you remember. Yes. Yes, I know. See, all you callers who think, that the Chronics, there's different waves. There's been waves of people. Yes, and Pamela was we were laughing at her because I thought she was joking. She was as serious as a heart attack, and that's how this mass hysteria. All right, let's go. Yeah. That's right. And
I got one question. Who is my most reliable...
Not Pam Anderson.
What should I say? The most reliable information source. What is going on with all these projects and the money, mainly large billions of dollars that Biden is signing to his pet projects, including the one that was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. What is going on with that? Can John reverse that when he gets into it?
Okay, what's going on is this is Biden's last rodeo. He's got a month left, and he's trying to get 10% of as many government contracts as he can. It's his last time to make some money.
You're saying that they'll all stand? None of them can be reversed?
I don't think there's enough time to even put them into action because the government's going to be shut down for the better part of the next month. So how could even Christmas and New Year's and Trump's back?
Well, obviously the government's doing business again. But, I mean, is any of this damage reversible?
Oh, I'm sure. I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, I am.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not. But Biden may get his 10% as soon as he signs the thing, regardless if it gets overturned. He may get the 10% deposited directly into his account.
Facetious.
No, he does. We know that's why he does everything. He's probably selling pardons too, with some of these wackadoodle pardons that are cut. You see the Chinese pedo he gave the clemency to? I mean, my goodness. All right, you want to take some calls? All right, let's go. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Good morning, ma'am. Oh, it's Joan in Tampa Bay. How's it going?
Hey, Joni, what's up?
Well, do you think Christopher Wray and the FBI is going to brief Trump directly on what the heck is going on? I mean, he already, invaded his home and did all this crap. I don't think they're telling him anything.
Oh, so you think you think Trump is getting false intelligence briefings right now?
I believe so.
See, now let me tell you why she's talking. If you're just tuning in, in the last hour, I was talking about the drones of New Jersey, and I believe Trump's a month away from being sworn in, so he's getting security briefings now. They got to prep him, right? He's back in a month, and I was saying that if these were Iran or China or a threat, he wouldn't be flying through that zone with his whole family on Trump Force One. And but you think that he's just being lied to in the briefings? What do you base that on?
How many times has Ray lied?
Well, Ray resigned. I mean, they're running scared. The people inside the government are running scared. So the people that are staying behind probably want to be in the good graces of the boss.
Well, he's staying in until January 20th. He resigned as of January 20th.
Well, if you know, because you believe he's being lied to. If you know that, don't you think Trump knows?
And on top of that, the SUV, the drones that they're seeing, they're the size of SUVs.
So they say, like the Andrew Cunanan in Coconut Creek, in the open Jeep, pumping gas.
Well, no, a lot of people in New Jersey, even what's his name, that fat guy with the McDonald's,
Chris Christie.
Yeah, he saw them flying over his home, and he was like in shock. I don't think Trump is being told the truth. I believe they're blowing smoke up his butt.
Okay, all right, appreciate. But Elon, hold on now. Elon Musk, who owns SpaceX, has top security clearance. You don't think Elon Musk knows what's going on with the drones either?
No. They're not going to release that information.
So do you think Trump? Okay. So does Trump know he's being lied to, or does he think he's being fed truthful intelligence?
I think he's being excluded from intelligence.
But does he know that?
I believe he might.
Okay, so slow down a second here. Okay, no, this is great. This is awesome. You're gonna help me here. Okay, so that means that he's not sure what's going on with the drones. He doesn't know, and he knows he doesn't know, right? That they could be a danger.
Right. That's why.
Okay, so, but then after that, he flew with his entire family multiple times through the area, to the stock exchange, to New York and back. If he thought there was a danger, do you think he would fly there on Trump Force One with his family?
Okay, number one, they usually fly over the ocean.
Well, if it's Iran, can you trust them? No, they're flying over Jersey. Can you trust them to only fly in certain places and times if it's a foreign power, especially one that's trying to kill him, Iran, for the last few years?
I believe he's not being informed correctly.
So you know more than, okay, so you're smarter than Trump. Oh my goodness, that's pretty arrogant. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian, and hi, Steve. It's Roz.
Good morning, Roz.
Hi. I have a couple of things. First of all, Brian, I heard there was an earthquake in California. Is your daughter okay?
Oh, I didn't get any calls, so I'm assuming so.
My sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, as far as the drones go, I think that President Trump, has some good people who are giving him the facts, but the Democrats and the rhinos might be feeding him lies. But he's a very smart man.
Okay, so that means there's no danger and no foreign power.
You know what? I believe that he's protected by God. He has been for years.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for God, see, look at all the stuff that...
So wait a minute. So are you saying that they are a danger in New Jersey, but he's protected by God, so he's flying through the danger zone with the shield of the Lord? I mean, come on. They're either a danger or not. Are the drones a danger or not, in your opinion?
You know what? I'm not really sure.
But if Trump thought they were a danger, would he fly through them with his family through that zone?
No.
Then they're not a danger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but another thing too. Were you able to pick up that copy of the Time magazine?
I do not have the Man of the Year Time yet. I do not have it. I'm going to try to get it soon.
Okay, because I went to Walmart and I got the runaround, and you know what they did?
What?
Hid them behind the Legos.
Behind the Legos?
Yeah, some snack and hid them behind the Legos.
Oh my goodness.
Magazine.
Well, so that's maybe I'll look behind the Legos at Target today and see if they're there. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. We'll be right back.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hello, it's Scott Shannon with a quick reminder that the oldies are back on the radio right after 10 this morning, right here on South Florida's True Oldies Channel.
This is your time to really focus on wellness of mind, body and spirit. Amrit Ocean Resort is now open on Singer Island, a next generation luxury wellness resort merging Eastern principles and Western luxury. The 4-story wellness spa is like nothing you've experienced before. Hydrothermal water therapy, hot and cold pools, steam, sauna room, inhalation salt therapy chamber, and Arctic chill fountains, all designed to detox and relax. All located on the picture-perfect beaches and impressive facilities of Amrit Ocean Resort. Face and body treatments, including Reiki experiences, reflexology and massage. Explore all available offers at amritocean.com. That's AMRITOcean.com.
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88. The lowest price.
By the way, those of you that are members, I put up a vlog yesterday for members only if you want to check it out. all you members, make sure you check out that vlog. We'll be back shortly, guys.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-66.
Oh, thank you, Michael Todd. Yeah, that was with my new camera, that vlog. I'm kind of just getting the hang of how to use it. Alrighty, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. The phones are ringing, Steve.
Who they are or what they are is anybody's guess. And that's exactly what's going on here. A lot of guessing.
Yes.
That I kept hearing over and over again that drove me up the wall and to the point where I was throwing my shoes at the television screen was when they were announcing, we don't know what they are, but we know that you're not in danger.
Yes.
Dangerous. I mean, that is, even the stupid Democrats should understand that that's a contradiction in terms. That's automatically a phony announcement.
That's like causing panic.
You can't know that a vehicle like that is harmless if you're telling people up front that you don't.
You know, Steve, it tells you the level of intelligence of the people running America right now under Biden. We got a bunch of dingbats. I mean, that's just it. I mean, you know, you wouldn't say something like that if you have half a brain.
heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. I thought this. Yeah, I heard it. I thought the same thing, and that's the kind of thing that causes mass hysteria. Yes, we know what it is. It's classified. We can't tell you, but don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. At least something. You don't say we don't know what it is and you're safe. That's impossible. That's impossible. You can't be both. Oh boy. All right, back to the phones on this Monday. Let's see here. Let's go. Absolutely, MAGA Monday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, actually, the drones, what they did was as soon as they spotted them, the National Guard put up what they call, it's like a owl night monitoring system. It actually, since we spend, close to $800 billion in defense a year, they actually have these telescopes that can tell whether or not these weapons or these drones have any weapons on them, or if they have any projectiles or any any weapons whatsoever on these drones. And they
Okay.
So there's nothing to worry about with the drones.
Nothing to worry about.
Doing it, Steve. They already did it. This has been going on for weeks. The National Guard has put.
See, this is part of it. All right, Tom. Hold on, Tom. Steve. See, here's part of the thing too, and I was talking about this earlier. Everybody that has a drone is flying them now. So because they're in their mind. So there's more drones in the air than ever before. So that's a lot of this too.
Like, let me go see what's up there. So they send their drone up there, and they're like, oh my God, their drone dies out of battery, because these are obviously some sophisticated other technology.
Like there's this film that I've seen online that I do not know that it's hard for me to believe it's real. It may be real, but have you seen Steve? Have you seen the by the way, Tom, thanks for the call. I'm going to let you go before you get nuts, because you're like almost normal today.
I was just talking to you, bud.
I know you're almost like just normal. It's nice. It's nice to know that you've got some brain cells. I appreciate it. Take care. Okay, so there's this news footage. Have you seen the one with the flatbed semi truck carrying the crashed drone? Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of footage online. We talk about the fake news a lot, rightly so, but there's a lot of fake internet news. There's this video, I've seen it online all morning. It's a big semi-flatbed with a crashed drone on it that's being taken somewhere. I don't know, where they're going to take it? Area 51, Hangar 18, and all this stuff. It's just the way you know what this is like? This is like what's going on with the drone, Steve. It's like the whole country has turned into the Art Bell show. The Art Bell show, any of you guys out there remember Art Bell? He's no longer with, he was so full of it. And he did a show once where he exposed himself. Remember the guy that flew into Area 51 on the air? Oh my goodness. Okay, they carried this garbage on our radio station that we were on at the time. And, yeah, now he was on right before we went on, right? So Steve and I are driving into work, and we heard this garbage on Art Bell, and it was so ridiculous. Okay, I'm not going to go through the history of Art Bell other than to tell you he was a liar, and he did a whole show on UFOs and Bigfoot and all that stuff. None of it's true. He gets a call from a guy who says he's in his private prop-driven plane, and you could tell the guy was like sitting in his bathroom next to a rotating fan to try to sound like a plane engine. I'm sure this call's online, and he was flying. Our tax money pay for this Area 51. I want to get you to the bottom of it, Art Bell, right here on the phone. I'm going to fly over there and tell you what's there. So it goes on for quite some time, and he flies over Area 51, and of course, what happens? The F-16s, the fighter jets come in and shoot him down. Oh, I'm going to try. I'm trying to get away. Oh, they got me. And the line goes dead. It's like the end of Failsafe, right? And Art Bell treated it as if it was real. And it was the most absurd thing I ever heard and then we had to go on the air after that. And that's when we had that no talent program director that hated everybody on the air because he wanted to be on the air but sucked and couldn't make it on the air. And it was just insane. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. There's nothing worse than a no talent telling you what to do on the air. But anyway, and for months and years, people talk. Even when Nori took over, people talked about that guy that got shut down over Area 51, and I've not heard that since it happened live. So if you go and pull it up online, it may be a little different than I explained, but it was a fake guy. It's obviously fake. He didn't get shot down over. But there's this drone thing. What I'm telling you is that the drone thing is because there's two things going on. It's a mass hysteria event, and we're in a holiday season. Christmas is next week. All the news is pro-Trump. The mainstream media don't want to give you the pro-Trump news. So it's like during the summer when the news is slow, there's a lot of hysteria over shark bites, right? People getting bitten by sharks a lot over the summertime in the news. And Steve and I have both lived in Florida most of our lives. I don't know anyone personally who's been bitten by a shark or eaten by a gator in Florida. Do you? Not personally. We see stories in the news, but they give you these hysterics over shark bites during the summer. That's what's going on. This is a mass hysteria event. There's a snowball effect going on for all the reasons that I mentioned throughout the show and more. From selling drones for Christmas to everybody flying them to blah, blah, blah. Okay? I mean, it's enough. It's BS. But I do want to tell, if you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Angel Water. You know, Steve, I've been talking for quite some time about the Angel Water filtration system, which I have in my home, and how great it is for your home. I learned something a couple weeks ago I did not know. Angel Water actually has a system, a water filtration system for businesses. So if you have an office, a company, a business, and you're spending a lot of money on bottled water and all of that stuff, you can stop doing that. Call Angel Water. They've got a great system for businesses. It's priced right, and you'll never have to buy bottled water for your employees or customers ever again, because you'll have the Angel Water system at your business, and it's great. Okay, so if you're a business owner, give them a call. You know, Rocky at Angel Water, he's a good MAGA guy. He's the guy, he came out to my house and tested my water and told me what me and my family were drinking. Holy smokes. He'll come to your home or business and test your water too. You hear him in the recorded commercials for Angel Water during the commercial breaks. That's Rocky. He's a good guy. Now, they have an incredible offer for listeners of our radio station. Angel Water is going to give you a free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a whole house refiner. I have both of those, okay? And if you're a business owner, you call too and ask them how they can help you and your business. Give Angel Water a call. They'll come out and test your water at no charge. 561-899-6585. 561-899-6585. That's 561-899-6585. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back with your calls. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. It is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio. You're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
We have solved the mystery. Guys, I am less than 100 subscribers away from 90,000. Oh my gosh. You know, everyone who's subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're less than 100 away from 90,000 subscribers. It's very exciting, guys. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you're already subbed, please like the video. Very exciting. Oh yeah, this shirt's a nice shirt. The 3 greatest Republican presidents, right there.
And now, a true oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Airport.
Some good news, the turnpike is no longer shut down. There's still some solid delays through the area. This traffic diverts ways by Audible. On the turnpike heading northbound, it was shut down past Okeechobee Boulevard. Now it's
There's only one opening on the board, so if you're on hold, hang in there.
You can still use I-95 to get around them. And there's gas leak at 441 circling away and crash at Seminole Track Whitney Road and Sycamore Drive has got the roadblock. Why not escape the traffic with Audible? Immerse yourself in a new world with stories and ideas with an incredible selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. There's more to imagine when you listen.
One opening on the board.
Free trial at audible.com. That's traffic and everything we steal.
Andrew Jackson. Okay. Not if you're an Indian, he wasn't.
As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At LaPorta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing.
Andrew Jackson was the first president to have his photo taken. But he wasn't president when it was taken, but he looks like hell. Look it up. Oh my gosh. Looks like a walrus.
Customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4600.
One opening on the board.
Visit us at LaPortaRoofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
No, Andrew Jackson. When he was president, a guy came to the White House with a gun to shoot Andrew Jackson, and Andrew Jackson fought him off with his cane, beat the crap out of the guy with his cane at the White House. I can't remember if it was inside or outside. I can't remember.
Hormone replacement therapy is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is
The size of submarines, that's the first one I've heard that. First time I've heard that one. They're getting bigger all the time.
more energy and even get your sex drive back. And for women, hormone replacement pellet therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more mood swings, better sleep, no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, there's only one opening on the board, Steve. People are, they want to talk. You want to go back to the phones? All right. Oh, no, I lied. Every line on the board is lit. Oh, my goodness. Just to finish my thought, though, during holiday periods like the summer are historically slow news periods, okay? All the news is pro-Trump stuff. Like this awesome going to the Army-Navy game like The Boss with Daniel Penny and JD and Pete Hegseth and the whole team, you know. So the media don't want to, the only news is pro-Trump news. So that the mainstream media aren't really interested in reporting all that pro-Trump news. So they feed into this drone hysteria. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm on the line.
You're on the air.
All right. This is Matthew. I just wanted to say that I got news from the big guy in red, and from the North Pole. He was telling me that his little helpers are the ones in operating these drones, and what they're doing is they're doing data gathering so they could gather what these kids want for Christmas. Whether they were naughty or nice, and it's just a superior way to gather data.
Oh, okay. So Santa and his elves are testing their new naughty or nice list detection system over New Jersey. Okay, I get.
yeah, data gathering and, of course, because the mailing system is like, that's just old way of doing things. And the reason why the federal government's not doing anything is because they're in touch with, Santa Claus and the North Pole.
Well, yeah, he does coordinate with NORAD when he's flying around the. Well, I got to tell you, your explanation is as credible as any others I've heard on the national news. So thanks for the call. Oh my goodness, that's a very strong possibility. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh no! Oh, there was a punchline. There was a joke. Oh well. Call back with the punchline. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Brian, hi, Steve. How are you today? Some really interesting points. We have the founder and the driving force with SpaceX and the founder and driving force with Space Force together. You would think that they would know what's up with everything going on. And for them to be taking off and driving and going through the Army-Navy game and going through this area, along with the vice president, they think is pretty safe. It's interesting. What's interesting, I think, for me is the size of the drones and some of the technological things that they're able to do. They can cut down the Wi-Fi down below and darken out. I thought this was a military operation, to be honest with you, the whole time. But I think if there was something amiss, I would trust that Elon or Donald Trump would warn us about it. You think?
There's nothing. If there was something to worry about, especially from Iran, Trump wouldn't be flying there with his family. And so and he's got Elon Musk there, and I keep pointing. Elon Musk has the top security clearance we got because he owns SpaceX. So Trump has either had him in on the briefings on this or let him know what they told him to get his expert opinion and analysis of it. So
anything up with the drones, Elon Musk is the guy.
And I don't buy. Okay, now when Trump was elected the first time, when he was president-elect the first time, all these brain surgeons like Rachel Maddow and others, and Brian Stelter, all these lowlives in the media were suggesting that they give Trump false intelligence briefings when he was president-elect the first time. I don't think that's happening this time because Christopher Wray did not resign for no reason. The boss is back, and the people that are staying want to be in the good graces of the boss. And I'm not talking about Bruce Springsteen, and that's Donald Trump, and they're giving him accurate briefings. I don't believe they're giving him inaccurate security briefings. They may have the first time, but not this time.
I'm telling us that these are MAGA drones that they're doing all this, but I don't think so. I don't know what it is, and I expect this to just kind of disappear overnight, maybe in a week or so. Who knows?
Yeah, there may never be an answer, and there may not be an answer. It may, like I said, however the story started, okay, everybody that has a drone is flying it now. So and that's what's going on. It's just it's a non-story.
Yeah. Listen.
Probably. Let me do the disclaimer. Probably, in case I'm wrong, but probably.
Just in case, plausible deniability.
That's correct.
It's a fascinating story, and the technology involved is very interesting too.
I mean, some guy during the break said there's some of the drones are the size of submarines. The other day they were the size of F-150s. Now there's submarine-sized drones. Come on.
They're getting bigger all the time,
Well, you know what though? That Bigfoot. Okay, I'll give you another example. Bigfoot, as stupid as it's a guy in a gorilla suit, right? But people believed it. The Bermuda Triangle. People believe all these things. There's these different things that are all BS that people believe.
There's one more never even mentioned.
Yeah, P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
A sucker, yes.
It's very, but this is, with them all being overhead in that airspace and stuff, it's fascinating to see.
What's fascinating about it?
They see the lights in the sky and they connect it with the UFOs, and I think the time...
oh, please. Remember the Loch Ness Monster? Okay, this is a textbook example. Okay, the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland. I remember watching an In Search Of episode, okay, on the search for the Loch Ness Monster, and there was a high-speed boat race in that lake, and one of the boats crashed, and they said it ran over the head or the neck of the monster, and it caused the boat to crash. I mean, come on. Or the thing with Bigfoot. You notice how Bigfoot in all those pictures where he's far away, His left leg is always bent up, and he's always looking at the camera to the side on the profile. It's just nonsense.
It's also good for tourism too. Everybody wants to go down to the lock where it is and see if they see him. It's.
I'll tell you something. There is a. Do you guys believe in ghost? Steve, do you believe in ghost?
Not sure.
Okay, what about you, caller? Okay, there's a show on the Travel Channel called Ghost Adventures. You ever heard of it or seen it? Ghost Adventures? Okay, Ghost Adventures is it's a team of ghost experts who travel around to haunted places, and they have all these devices like the Mel meters. I've seen the show and all this stuff, and they can find ghosts. They did an episode on a house here in Palm Beach that's at the South Florida Fairgrounds. At the South Florida Fairgrounds, they did a whole episode there. There's a historic village of old houses from the 1800s and the early 1900s, and one of them is supposedly haunted. They did what happens is they go to these haunted houses and they get locked in all night, and then they got all these devices, and, oh, I'm getting cold, it must be nearby, I feel a chill, it just walked through me, and the Mel meter's going off. So anyway, they did an entire episode on this house at the South Florida Fairgrounds. And it's still there today, guys. Look, I don't remember which house it is, but you look it up, it's easy to find. I'm at the fair with my daughter, and I said, you know what, there's the haunted house, let's go. Right? I saw the ghost. It was a doll in one of the rooms that they were saying was moving or talking or something. It was so ridiculous. So what? But people believe it. There's a lot of hysteria out there over a lot of things. We had on the show. Okay, there was a movie about a guy who was abducted by aliens. What was the name of the movie? Something in the Sky. It was called Something in the Sky. James Garner was in it. You know what movie I'm talking about? We had the guy in studio that they made the movie about who was abducted by aliens. The real guy. Okay? A Fire in the Sky. Okay, Fire in the Sky. And Fire in the Sky, this guy got abducted by aliens. They dropped him off. They were kind enough to bring him back home. And they took him up there and they poked him and they prodded him and they experimented but they dropped him back home. And they made a movie about it, Fire in the Sky. We had the guy in studio. That guy, I swore to me upside down, right from I couldn't get him to. I think he's been telling the story so much he believes it, And he had with him a bunch of people that believe that crap, and they were with him and they were talking and all this. Aliens are not visiting the Earth. This guy was not abducted. He was probably on a bender and didn't want to get fired. I don't know. But, it's nonsense. And UFOs, in the 60s and 70s, UFOs was a hysteria. They made other movies and TV shows like Project Blue Book, Hangar 18, and all these things. All BS. But that was hysteria at the time.
They've tried to play up Gulf Breeze, Florida as a big place for UFOs, too.
Yeah. This is one I've told before. Okay, you guys can look this up online. When I started working with Steve, it was at 1400 AM WFTL. The station no longer exists. It was a great station, no longer exists. If you go online and look up the In Search Of episode with Leonard Nimoy on the Bermuda Triangle, that part of that episode takes place at that radio station that I started working at with Steve all those years ago. And this guy, the Bermuda Triangle has three points: Bermuda, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Fort Lauderdale. And they got all this. I've told this story on the air many times because it shows you how stupid these things are. This guy is interviewed on In Search Of. Like, he got a call from a guy who was from the government organization that was deep beneath the ocean in the Bermuda Triangle, explained the whole thing. They go through, look it up, In Search Of the Bermuda Triangle, and he was on our radio station, 1400 WFTL. They showed his studio. We even still had the board in the production room that he was interviewed in front of. It was old, but it was there. The Bermuda Triangle, that was another big hysteria. Didn't exist. There's the ozone, the rainforest. There's all these things that global warming. right? There's all these things that cause a mass hysteria, like the drones. They're all BS. I'm telling you, it's BS. All right,
Political too.
that's still living. I mean, look, how many millennials said they're not having kids because they can't bring them into a world that won't be able to sustain life?
That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, it's got a life of its own when these things get out.
Exactly.
Interesting.
All right, appreciate the call. All right. Oh, let's take our break. We'll be back.
The cold, hard,
all right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our first gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting off?
Metals starting off on the upside right now. The metals last week gave up some of their gains during the week, but still within the trading range we've been in for quite a while. And gold trading in a range of 26.46 to 26.92 on Friday. Closed out the week down $32.80 at $2,647.50 the ounce. Silver lost 41 cents on Friday, closing out the week at $30.52 the ounce, while platinum was down $5 at $9.24, and palladium lost $15 at $9.36. Overnight, we see gold trade in a range of 26.43 to 26.66. Right now, we're at the higher end of the range, $2,660 the ounce. That's up $12.50. Silver's up 18 cents at $30.70 the ounce, while platinum is up $17 at $9.41, and palladium is down $2 at $9.34.
Wow, things are looking good. Now, the countdown to Christmas has come. For people that are looking for Christmas gifts, for the kids, the grandkids, or maybe a spouse, what are some of the things that you have at your shop that you think make the greatest Christmas gifts?
Yeah, we have just about all kinds of jewelry, all kinds of, we have sterling silver, we have wonderful coin gifts, all the beautiful different formats of the 1 ounce silver rounds and 1 ounce silver coins that are produced by the different nations make wonderful gifts for children, and as well as beautiful gold coins of all sizes and shapes. And of course, we also have a large variety of very interesting numismatic items that people can purchase, even giving children things of their birth year, et cetera, of that. They're wonderful things to put away in stock or any kind of gifts, and we've got it all.
You know,
to tell us you're a Steve Kane listener, because we are wholesalers only, so we give it wholesale to our Steve Kane listeners, but you have to ask to see it.
Yeah, and you know, gold and silver are always good for gifts, and the coins. You know, we talk a lot about fractional gold, so there's coins in every budget. But you know, one thing you also I know offer, and my grandparents were big on this with all the grandkids for Christmas gifts, and I have these still today, and they're cherished all these years later. Paper money. When it comes to paper money, you have some that are great gifts too, right?
Yes, indeed. We have thousands of items in that area that are fascinating, interesting looks into our past financial history of different types of paper money that our government has issued and our states have issued. Makes it a very interesting item to give.
Yeah, and like I said, the paper money that my grandparents gave me when I was a little kid, I still have it, and it's just great. And my daughter and grandkids will have it too. It stays in the family forever, and it's just great. Great mementos, as well as something with some value. All right, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You could stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, located on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or you can give them a call, toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, and we are back. Let's see, I'm trying to take... Are you back with us, Steve? Okay, gotcha. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Cheryl from Michigan.
Hey.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi. I have a theory on the drones. I have a feeling, it's just a thought, that Biden and his departments know that there's money, and if there's a little bit of a mass hysteria, that is another avenue he can receive more money from America.
Yeah. Well, listen. Biden does everything he does to make money, so I would have to agree with you. Anything he does, it's for money.
I had to say.
All right, that's good. I appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Steve Brian. It's JJ from...
Hey, JJ.
JJ.
Hey, good morning, Steve. I'm thinking on this drone thing, Steve and Brian, that it is... Yeah, well, it could have something to do with HR 8610, which is... remember, the Patriot Act after 9/11, they scared the hell out of everybody, and then they passed this Patriot Act, basically taking our freedoms away. And 8610 is basically it's the it's the UAS Authority, Security and Safety. It's a reauthorization act, and I think they're trying to maybe use this as sort of a chaos fear tactic. I mean, that's a possibility. What I think much more likely is that it's sort of just like the DEA, they train their dogs. This is sort of a training operation for, detection and capture is what I think. Sort of like the DEA used to have sniffer planes, and I think this could be something along those lines, but sort of with a private government military, collaboration, where they may have planted objects in and around the area. And it's sort of, here, go fetch. Go see if you can find a little bit of radiation, a little bit of chemical this. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
But why would they continue to do it when they're causing interstate panic?
Top secret, and they love the fact that it's an ancillary fact could be it's going to get people to get this HR 8610 passed. Hell out of everybody. They're going to use that fear to move a bill where we give up more of our freedom. I mean, that's a possibility.
I got to tell you, I was talking about this earlier. Do you think the drones are selling as Christmas gifts probably faster and at larger numbers than ever this Christmas?
I think the drone thing is, right?
It was a fad. It was a fad that died off.
Well, I think over.
Not with this in the news and everybody talking about drones for 2 weeks.
Marketing, it's scare the hell out of everybody. So now people, well, you know what? You got something there. The crazy people that want to scare the hell out of their neighbor, I guess. So maybe. I just think it's got to be.
No, I don't mean to scare their neighbors, but I mean just to have a cool drone. I bet you drone sales have gone through the roof.
YouTubers use these drones, GoPros and stuff, to kinds of different footage. I mean, that's practically...
The only drone... I've had several cheap drones. They all crashed. I could never learn to fly them, so I never got one that was worth anything because I figured I'd crash that too. But...
It was like, the megawatts for megatons, that was back in 93 to 2000.
But, you remember the UFO scares. I mean, the people used to see flying saucers and stuff all the time and have pictures.
Talk about that. There was one up in New Hampshire in the 50s or the 60s, and my uncle was a policeman in Portsmouth, and the guy, I think it's a black man and a white lady, and my Uncle Bob knew them both very, very well and swore that the guy was telling the truth.
But he didn't see it. Listen, but here's the thing. Anything that you see flying and you don't know what it is an unidentified flying object. There's a difference between that and aliens on a spaceship visiting the Earth. Do you think aliens have visited the Earth on spaceships? Is that what that hysteria was about?
Do I think that aliens have...
Yes.
They've definitely been here.
Really? What evidence is there of that?
Well, I'll write a book and start tomorrow. There's evidence in Africa, the entire class in in one African country. On the spot, Brian, I can't remember every...
It's all BS. I do not believe aliens have ever visited the Earth, and all those spaceship stories are BS.
I just happen to disagree with you.
All right. Appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Hey, morning, Steve.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, hey, you got the Grinch for Christmas as your partner. He's actually being practical and destroying all these fantasies that all these people have the drones. As for aliens visiting the Earth, Machu Picchu in Peru. Did you go there, Brian?
Yes, I've been to Machu Picchu and the Nazca Lines.
About the
when I went to Peru, by the way, never go to Peru. It's very dangerous. It was stupid. I was scared out of my mind the whole time I was there, but I went there because I wanted to see the Nazca Lines. And the Nazca Lines were actually in one of the Indiana Jones movies. And they made a movie in the 70s called Chariot of the Gods. And they discovered these lines in the 20s flying over. And they were believed to be runways for the alien spaceships. And when I went to Peru and flew over the Nazca Lines, which are pretty cool, I found out what they were. It was the ancient people marking out where the water was in the desert. It has nothing to do with aliens, but that's what gets idiots like me to fly to Peru. How do you get the big suit? You have Jews as you have Jews as slaves that do it, that are owed reparations by the Egyptian people.
Now the deal is this also, you did mention sharks and alligators that you don't know anybody. Well, 2 years ago, Thanksgiving, I was eating with a woman at Thanksgiving dinner who's no longer with us because she was attacked by an alligator and dragged into...
Yeah, but I don't know her. Okay, yes. The woman that was walking, I remember talking to you about it. She was walking her dog killed her. Her dog got her killed. But the shark scares and the gator scares, I've lived in Florida. I've been coming to Florida if I lived here my entire life. I don't know anyone personally who's been bitten or eaten by a gator or a shark. You're like a couple removed from me. It's not that common, but there's a big hysteria in the news about gators and sharks all the time when the news is slow.
The kid was dragged in Disney. I know. I believe you're here.
No, I'm not saying people don't get if you go swimming in an alligator pit, like that kid did in Disney, you're going to get eaten by a gator. But I don't go swimming in gator pits.
First of all, you were 100% right with this hysteria. You go on YouTube, they actually drone watch, and you're staring into space. I mean, it's like.
Listen, let me tell you the reason that most people are talking about this, and this is not why we're doing it today. In fact, I brought up quite a few things beforehand. You see, we could sit here for the next 6 hours with endless calls. We have callers on hold now. We're coming to the end of the show, and I got to do a spot, so you're going to be the last call. We could sit here for the next 6 hours and have full boards of calls talking about the drones. And a lot of people are doing this to get people to pay attention to them, to watch their news and things like this. That's why people are doing it. I thought I had some good theories to shoot down all this hysteria that's going on. Yeah.
Art Bell had a show for years about crazy crap like this.
All lies.
But you can make a living. You can make a living on this. You really could. I mean, because people like crazy things. Look at the War of the Worlds back in what was that? 1939.
Not even Steve's old enough to remember the yeah, he was alive, but not coherent.
My brother would have been Steve's age, by the way. 1939 was born.
But I remember my grandmother very particularly telling me that people, during the Orson Welles thing, that people. I remember in the 80s there was a TV movie that was made like a true news story where they blew up a nuclear device in Charleston, South Carolina, and I don't know if anybody remembers this. And this was in the 80s, and the next day. I knew people. A lot of people thought that a nuclear device blew up Charleston, South Carolina the next day. It was a TV movie on one of the networks. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. The Cold War was another hysteria thing. Now, I want to talk about something, though, that is very true. You do not have to live with pain. Living with pain is not a part of growing old. Go see Dr. Philip Appleton. Talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. Let me tell you something. It works. He's rid me of pain 6 times, sometimes from injuries, arthritis, growing old aches and pains. Pain is not just a part of growing old. I thought it was. He rid me of my arthritis pain. Both shoulders I've had injuries, knee pain. It's amazing. The laser wave pain treatment works. It's 100% painless, completely painless. No shots, no injections, no downtime, no drugs, and no appointment is necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays, okay? Now, we're coming in the holiday period next week, so you might want to call ahead to find out what his holiday schedule is, but walk-ins are always welcome because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, and you need it now. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. Well, it's time for us to say bye-bye, Steve. Bye-bye. The show is over, and I think we've settled the drone thing, and I think we've laid out some very logical points about it. Yes, we've settled it. All right. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time. Take care.